Hey guys, what's up and welcome. In today's video, we are going to be going over a little bit of Maya software. If you don't know what Maya is, it's a software that lets you model characters or objects in general and animate them for video games. So that's what we're going to be doing today. We are going to be starting off with a simple model and learning the basics on how to animate it. So with that being said, guys, let's go ahead and get into it. All right, guys, first things first, once we open up Maya, we're gonna go to new project. So first, before we get started, guys, I am gonna go ahead and give you like a little navigation as to what we are looking at when going through Maya. So first, I'm gonna start off with this. This is gonna be your main toolbar, and you're gonna use this to control your object, where you wanna place it, where you move it, rotating it. So first we have your select tool, lasso tool, paint selection tool. These ones we're going to use the least of. Then we're going to use the selection tool mostly, the move tool and rotating tool and the scaling tool. Pretty self-explanatory move tools to move your object around, and rotate tool is to rotate your object, and scale is to make it bigger or smaller. Next, we have down here at the bottom of our toolbar, panel layout. This top one is basically what we're in now. This one is if we want to view our whole screen into 4 different cameras. So this is what we are looking at as far as that goes. If we do add a new object, which we're going to be doing here in a moment, but right now I will go ahead and do a sphere. And these are going to be your models, which you are going to build your own model from. So we'll go ahead and create a sphere first. And as you can see that there is many different views that you can view your tool or your model at. And just by clicking into either of them, click on the screens to show where you are looking at. So this is a top view. It's kind of hard to tell because it's just like a gray model, and the circle, like a circle, looks the same all around. But this is the one that we're going to be in the most. And to go ahead and hop out of that, you just have to press spacebar, around whatever box that you are. So if you want it to look closer into this box, you just push spacebar over that with your mouse. If you want to look at this one, spacebar over, showing the right view. So back into this one, and this is just going to be the same thing as this, but with the 2 camera view. Okay, so next we can go ahead and delete this. You just, with your mouse, you just scale over and delete. And so what we are going to be doing first is importing our image from which we want. So if you haven't yet, go ahead and find a picture that you want to have your model after. So I'm gonna go ahead and open that. So what you want to do first is press your spacebar again to get you to your 4 windows, and then you want to go to the window that says front, and you want to go to view, image plane, import image, and then you want to go to where you put your image and open it from there. So for my computer, Seagate class 480, and then here we have our background. So if you have a background, you can go ahead and open that. So this is what we are looking at. You can take your shape and make it like this, or it could just be like a simple object from here. And if you press your space bar, your menu pops up here, and it's just like the same. In this menu is the same of everything that we have up here. It's just an easier way of accessing it and having to look. And when you hold it down, and then you can left click, and then all your other options will pop up. And then to enter a different perspective, you can do space bar, hold the click, and then also you can see your different views. If you want a new camera, you can do a new camera, but here's your top view, left view, back view, perspective view, just like how it was with these 4 boxes. It will give you that specific view. So now that we have our background up, we can start modeling. And I'm gonna start off with the square because this already has a square-like component. So I can edit that square to fit the shape of this design. So I'm gonna do for my polygon model, and as you can see, the square popped up right here. Now, you can use Alt and then hold down your mouse and it will rotate for you. And then you can hold down your little mouse spinning thingy, your middle button, I guess you can say, Alt, and then hold down that button, and then it will move around the screen for you. So what I want from this is I want my square model to be popping out of the logo right here. So I'm gonna have to want this to go up here in order for me to find the shape that I want for this box. So my box is there. We're gonna do our move tool, and we're gonna use this to move it around, up and down, side to side, up and down, forward and back. Okay. Next, we're gonna put it where we want it and then scale it to the size that we think would fit best. So you look right there, it kind of looks like it's that size. And then we can see that it's not completely there yet. Maybe move it down a little bit so I can see the top and then the bottom. I think that's a pretty good size. Okay. Next, what we want to do is we could put it in wireframe mode. That way we can see that the gray part of the box, it won't be there, so you can see what you're looking at in terms of how to model this. So you'll be able to see the S. So basically the box becomes invisible, but you're still able to model it. And to do that, we press 4 on our keyboard. To go back, we press 6. So 4 to make it kind of like invisible, transparent, I guess, and 6 to go back. So one more thing, when we're doing this, we can also put it on a new layer. So we can actually have your background as a layer and then your box as a layer. So to do that, we press the background and we press this to add it to the layer. So that way we can see it. And if we put it in R, if we put the R, then we won't be able to move it. That way it just stays as kind of like a reference, which is what this R means right here, is reference. And then we can click our box and do the same thing. So we can name this background, save, and then layer 2, we can do Superman logo. And we'll make it, I don't know, red. We'll make this one blue because the background is blue. There. Do is start our modeling process, and we are going to shape our box into our logo shape. So first I want to insert some edge loops. That will give us some extra vertices to work with. And to do that, we got to go into our menu and we go into mesh tools and insert edge loop. We'll make it so we can insert multiple edges, vertices, faces. So I think right there looks pretty good. And then next we are going to be tinkering with scaling our vertices to size of the top part up here. And to do that, you just vertex, get us back into the vertex mode. And then what you want to do is go to your scaling tool and you want it to be even. So what you're going to do is click on these, and in order to, I mean, you can go like that, but sometimes it gets a little difficult to select it, because when you like select something like this, it's gonna automatically select the one on the bottom also. So I like to do it individually, and how you do that is you click one and then you shift, click another, another, and another. And then now we are gonna scale it to size by grabbing this and scaling it inward. That looks pretty good. And then we are gonna grab these, scale it inward, like so. Now you can see that this side is a little off because when I was messing with it earlier, just push this in, move that, push it in. Okay. Grab all of those, edit it in mesh, and then you are going to merge. So now your points are all one. So you can go like this, and then now you can see that it's all connected together, those 4 points that were at the bottom. So already, you know, it was a pretty simple shape to design. And next we are going to go ahead and work with the texture. So now that we're going to get into texturing, we are going to select our object and we are going to go into Hypershade window, which is, if you look on the top, there's 2 ways you can get to it. You can press this little blue sphere up here, or you can go to Windows and then Rendering Hypershade. So 2 ways, just clicking on the little blue dot is easier. So what we're gonna wanna do is create a new node. So the node is basically something that controls your whole object as far as like the textures, the colors, whether you want your object to glow or not. And yeah, so we are gonna create a new texture. So one of the most popular ones is Lambert, and then the other one being Blend. Blend is more of like a shiny, so I want to use a blend because I feel like Superman is like super shiny. So here we have our object, and this is going to be called Blend 1. So what we want to do is, let's go ahead and put this off to the side and select our object. And what we want to do is assign it to a new material, or we can assign it to an existing material, which is the blend. We have our blend that we just made pop up here. So now it will be assigned to the blend on here. So if we click this, we can now change the color of this. So we can go here, and then you can see that our object, we can now change the color of it. But it's not what we want to do. What we want to do is click this little checkerboard and find your image that you downloaded that you want to assign to this object. And for me, I did a Superman logo. So I'm going to go ahead and go File, and this editor popped up as File 1. And we're going to go to the folder, which is the image name. Going to go to where we placed our image, and it will display right here so you can see it. And here is what I want, the image I want to assign to this object. So there it is. And you can see it's a little wonky. That's because we have to edit it to be in the right spot. So we can close that down, and we can go ahead. As you can see, it kind of has that little shine to it. That's what the blend does. If it was the Lambert, it would just be like a regular solid looking shape, but I really like the kind of glow that it has to it, or the kind of shimmer that it has to it. So next, after we finished adding our texture, assigning our texture to our object, what we are gonna do is try to get it into the place where we want it. And by doing that, we go to UV up here on the top and go to UV editor. Like that, and then there is our object that has popped up. So we can make this a little smaller. We can push this off to the side and zoom in. That way we can see our object. let's go ahead and close this down for a second. And we can go ahead and zoom in here for a bit. Zoom in here. There. So it's kind of off to the side. And then shoot, what happened to our UV? Oh, just go back to UV editor. So here we are, our UV editor. So when we click on our object, this box pops up, and we can also zoom in on this one as well. And these boxes are what's going to control where we place our texture at. So first, you know, we can move our textures around. We can go ahead and go edge. Again, it's the same with modeling this. We can go ahead and go edge, face, UV shell. So like that, you can go ahead and, it's not showing right there. We can do edge. We can select edges, and you can see how it moves along within our object. Go ahead and do that. So I'm going to select the whole thing, and I'm going to scale it up to fit the object perfectly. So in order to select the whole object and make it bigger or smaller, or in order to scale the whole thing at once without having to move different sides one at a time, you can hold, once you select the whole thing, you can hold shift down, and then you can, right now it's on move, scale. Hold it down and make it bigger like so. I think that looks pretty good right there. And then just try to get it to where you want it within. You can zoom out a little bit, and as you can see in the back, it's also weird. Another thing that you can do is you can cut it so that you can detach it from the whole as the thing or the object as a whole. Now that way if you just mess up, then you can just fix the pieces of how you want it to be. So this, you can rotate it to make it a little bit easier for yourself. Rotate it to get it to where you want it to be. And as you can see, that looks pretty good. We can leave that where we want it right there, and then we can go ahead and rotate this the way we want, like so, and move it up. Maybe that looks a little better, I guess. But anyway, you get the idea. You just have to play around with this quite a bit. After that, we'll go ahead and save it. We'll assign textures to the other parts, but for the most part, that's what I wanted to show you as far as like the front and the back. So we can go ahead and get out of our UV editor for right now, and we can go ahead and do File, Save As, doing another desktop, computer, Seagate, 480. All right, and then we'll go ahead and set this one as 3. Save as. So now we can go ahead and go back into our so now we can go ahead and go back into our UV or our hyper shade mode, and then we can go ahead and make another texture. So right now we'll go ahead and do our blend again. So this is now, it's blend 2, and we can go ahead and select our faces. So we'll go ahead and do face. So we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then we'll go ahead and right click and we'll assign existing material and do blend 2. And with that, with blend 2, go ahead and open this up a bit. So we'll go ahead and select our blend 2 and we'll select color red. So for this one, we'll just do the regular color red. There we go. So as you can see now, it kind of looks a little better. Minus the mess up from my texturing, but you get the gist. Now we can go ahead and start with animating. So now that we got our texture all nice and taken care of, we actually have something pretty solid here. We can start our animating. So first start for animating, I want this superhero sign to follow a path. And how we do that is we go under, we usually start off at poly modeling, we'll go under curves and surfaces. And so we can make a path or we can have the circle follow. Okay, so what we're gonna do is make a curve, and what I want this curve to do, we'll go ahead and grab our object mode, and we'll push this guy back. So what I want is for our object to pop out like that. So we'll go ahead and put this a little closer, and we'll go ahead and start with our object. And we are going to be creating a path, so we can go ahead and start that. We'll go, and then we'll just make a bunch of different points around. And then we'll just continue back from the start. As so. Okay, now I want to bring our path up. Bring it up. And we'll go there and there. That way it looks like it's the start from there. And then we already have our path selected, and we'll select our object. We'll do spacebar, constrain, and what we're gonna do is motion paths, and we're gonna attach it to the motion path. And now we can see our object is attached. And if we start on the timeline, we can go like that. But as you can see, that our motion path is a specific way. It's not the way that we want it, right? But we're getting somewhere. So what we want is for our object, let's see, we'll turn it, we'll rotate it back to the way we want it, as so. Right, yes. And then we'll go ahead and do key selected, and then we'll go ahead and do maybe lock selected. I don't know. There we go. So now if we do play, what? So now that we got that, we got our path selected. We made our path, we attached our object, and then we're gonna go ahead and save again. File, save scene as, And then number 5. Number 5. As you can see, now that we move along our timeline, our path, our object is going well. So another thing that we can do, so as we go right here, we can go ahead and do right here, and we can rotate it a little bit for it to, and then we can key selected. So now that we have that, we can see it kind of turning. So right here we see it turning a little bit, and then once we get here, we can rotate it some more this way, maybe like right there, and then we can go key selected again. So now when we go back, now we can see kind of like a turning going on here. Key selected, and voila, back to where we started. So now we can see it flying around. Looks pretty good to me. Ah. All right. We'll go ahead and stop that, and we will save it again. File, save as, because if you don't know, Maya sucks and it crashes a lot. Save as. Alright guys, that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed. I tried my best to show you guys the basics of both modeling and animation, and I think from my little knowledge of Maya, I did really well. So yeah, I hope it wasn't too complicated, and I hope you guys also enjoyed doing this if this is something that you're looking forward to doing in your future. So yeah, bye guys.